Woe to you of earth and sea.
Welcome to Satan is My Superhero, a show for atheists, scoffers, heathens, and unbelievers. I'm your host, Judas Falling. In this episode, we will investigate the gateway drug to hell known as Dungeons and Dragons, a tabletop fantasy role-playing game that I'm sure you must have at least heard of. If you know nothing about the darkest corner of geekdom, here is TT's with the briefest possible explanation.
Sitting around a table, each player assumes the role of a character with predetermined skills and equipment. The group embarks on a fantasy adventure where they will battle monsters and perform other tasks. A dungeon master guides the story and decides the outcome based on dice rolls. If your character dies in the game, you die in real life. Oh no, sorry, I wasn't supposed to read that last part.
You know, when the counsellor said to try roleplay to spice up our marriage, I just don't think this is what he had in mind.
The game was invented by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. It was first published in 1974 and sold 1,000 copies in its first year. Its sales tripled in its second year. A decade after its introduction, D&D was moving 750,000 copies per annum. The game itself spawned a couple of official magazines that would contain answers to player questions.
Life before the internet.
The magazine would also give in-depth backgrounds to existing characters and storylines, as well as acting as a supplemental to the game itself by updating subscribers with new characters. One such update arrived in the official magazine called Dragon in 1979. This attractive new character, introduced by Alexander von Thorn, was none other than Satan.
Do you have a date this weekend? The dice roll says no. How about forgetting your troubles and immersing yourself in a fantasy world where you are the hero fighting mighty warriors, evil wizards, and terrible monsters? Try Dungeons and Dragons. Now available with added Satan.
This Satan character had been Lord of the Nine Hells. He's a shapeshifter whose most potent power is temptation.
Sounds about right.
But in D&D lore, Satan had been toppled from his throne by a more powerful demon known as Asmodeus.
Asmodeus? As if. It's debatable if he's even canonical.
Personally, I don't think it's a coincidence that the game went from sales of 2.3 million in 1979 to 8.7 million just a year after the introduction of Old Scratch.
What can I say? Nerds love me. Not looking at anyone in particular, Judas.
Are you a geek or are you a nerd like me? Are you everything that I can't be? You gotta be just right to be the right bitch for me. I say you gotta be just right to be the right bitch for me.
The devil was referenced many more times in D&D literature over the next couple of years, but as the Satanic Panic of the 80s got underway and D&D got caught in the crossfire, old Nick found himself sidelined. From 1986 until 2007, the mere mention of the Wicked One was forbidden in official D&D products.
The real story is Asmodeus got jealous and threatened to walk. Personally, I didn't need the grief at the time. I had a panic to organize.
Dungeons & Dragons' contribution to the Satanic Panic can be traced to the 1979 disappearance of 16-year-old James Dallas Egbert III and the public allegations made by the private investigator hired by the family to find him, Bill Deere. Deere had a theory that the boy had got lost in some steam tunnels playing a live-action version of Dungeons & Dragons.
Guys, does anyone have a spell to make rats disappear? Guys?
Egbert did eventually turn himself into Deere, who got the real story, which, due to a promise he made to the teenager, kept the secret until 4 years after Egbert's eventual tragic suicide. Deere capitalized on the media frenzy around the case known as the Steam Tunnel Incident and published a memoir entitled
The Dungeon Master, The Disappearance of James Dallas Egbert III,
in which Deere claimed the D&D aspect of the story had just been a working theory and was blown out of proportion by journalists. Egbert had actually been suffering depression and drug addiction. Deere's love of the spotlight would lead him to the exhuming of Lee Harvey Oswald in 1981 to prove the body buried was that of a Russian spy. It was not. Deere, who describes himself as the world's greatest private eye and the real James Bond, has also written books claiming O.J. Simpson is innocent and he can prove it.
It was a tragic shaving accident.
Deere was also one of the investigators on the infamous alien autopsy video for the Fox special.
Alien autopsy, fact or fiction?
To clarify, Deere was not part of that hoax. In fact, it suggested he was kept at arm's length from the investigation so the show could air before its status as fiction was confirmed.
Let's go, boys!
I'm going to take a short break from the show right now to talk about my sponsors and Patreon. I don't currently have sponsors or Patreon, but if you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying my novel. It's called Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. It's available through Amazon. You don't need a Kindle to read it. Almost any digital device will do. Don't forget, Chaos Machine by Judas Fawley. Now, back to the show. In 1981, author Rona Jaffe published the novel
Mazes and Monsters,
which was about a role-playing game enthusiast who can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy. It was turned into a made-for-TV movie starring a very young Tom Hanks just a year later.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in Dungeons & Dragons.
In 1982, the same year the movie was broadcast, 17-year-old Irving Pulling committed suicide. His mother Patricia blamed the tragedy on what she perceived as his obsession with the game and tried to sue his school where he had allegedly played Dungeons & Dragons. The case was dismissed, but she went on to form her own lobby group called BADD. Bad.
I've come up with an acronym for our organization.
What is it?
BADD. Bad.
Oh, that's awesome. What does it stand for? No, wait, don't tell me. Let me guess. It must be something really kick-ass with an acronym like that. Is it Be Aware Dungeons & Dragons?
No,
No, I can guess this. Is it Ban All Dungeons & Dragons? No, that's not strong enough. Oh, I've got it. Bitches Against Dungeons & Dragons.
Patricia called her organisation Bothered About Dungeons & Dragons.
How disappointing.
In her 1989 book,
The Devil's Web, Who is Stalking Your Children for Satan?
Pulling claimed to have investigated the subject of teenage devil worship for 7 years and wrote,
I have learned of the evil that stalks our land, about those whose sole purpose it is to lead our children away from home, family, church, and the moral values that they have learned.
Hey, where's Martin? He's not coming anymore. They caught him playing Dungeons & Dragons and he got kicked out.
So he never has to go to Sunday school again because he played a board game?
Well, technically, it's a fantasy roleplay tabletop game. But, yeah, never again.
What was that noise? It sounded like someone had an idea. Who's thinking in here? You know the rules.
Pulling would also claim D&D is a
game which uses demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, prostitution, satanic-type rituals, gambling, barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination, and other teachings.
And with PR like that, Dungeons & Dragons could only become even more popular.
Hi, I'm looking for something with demonology, witchcraft, murder, rape, suicide, assassination, insanity, sex perversion, homosexuality, sex workers, satanic-type rituals, gambling, barbarism, cannibalism, sadism, desecration, demon summoning, necromantics, divination and other teachings.
I've got just the thing for you.
What's this?
It's the Bible. And it's also got lots of incest.
Capitalising on the Satanic Panic, Pulling appeared on the highly rating 60 Minutes in 1985.
That was a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
She petitioned the Fair Trade Commission to force warning labels be put on role-playing games.
Warning, playing this game may impair your ability to get a girlfriend.
This is reminiscent of Tipper Gore's PMRC campaign.
PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center, also known as A Bunch of Karens.
Looking for the manager. Asking for the manager. Talking to the manager. Getting kicked out by the manager.
We talked about Tipper Gore's PMRC in the NWOBHM episode.
NWOBHM, New Wave of British Heavy Metal, also known as music for old men.
Predominantly, but not exclusively, white working class males.
So close was the relationship between Pulling and the PMRC that Tipper included contact information for Bad in her 1987 book.
Raising PG Kids in an X-Rated Society.
What neighborhood was Tipper raising her kids in? Oh, Washington. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
The untrained, undervalued sociologist, anthropologist and psychologist Patricia Pulling created educational material for schools and police departments which she distributed across the US. Here is an example of an 8-point profile for police officers to assess who is at risk of Satanism.
1. Adolescents from all walks of life.
So everyone then.
2. Many from middle to upper middle class families.
That's offensive. She's trying to make me out as some kind of elitist snob. I don't judge anyone based on their material wealth. It's just that I have a sensitive nose and I find poor people smell bad.
3. Intelligent.
Well, she got that one right.
4. Over or underachievers.
Make up your damn mind, Pulling. Which one is it?
5. Creative/curious.
Goes without saying, really.
6. Some are rebellious.
I would say all are rebellious. It's kind of the whole point.
7. Some have low self-esteem and are loners.
You know, low self-esteem gets a bad rap. What's wrong with an honest and accurate appraisal of your worth as a human? Take, for example, one P. Pulling. If she had a better appraisal of her own knowledge, she would have quickly realized she doesn't know the first thing about Satanism.
8. Some children have been abused, physically or sexually. What? No joke for this one?
No.
I may have misjudged you. Maybe one day you and I can be friends.
Unlikely.
The pamphlet also goes on to educate law enforcement on when, where and how satanic indoctrination could be taking place. I won't bore you with any more of her points. You've already got an idea of her methodology from the first 8. She spends the rest of her ink explaining satanic proselytization is happening all the time, everywhere, through all the usual conduits. In her uniformly uninformed way, she claims the number one pathway to hell, even above role-playing games, is
black heavy metal music.
Obviously she means black metal, but, as a metalhead, it made me chuckle.
I just feel like you find this funnier than anyone else will.
Your father and I are concerned about you.
Why?
Well, I was going through your playlist and I found that you've been listening to Bad Brains, Living Colour and Mother's Finest.
What's wrong with those bands? Is it because they're mostly African Americans?
No, it's because they're old.
In her 38-page pamphlet,
Dungeons and Dragons, Witchcraft, Suicide, Violence,
Pulling quotes convicted murderer Mitchell Roop.
I became so fascinated with the game, Dungeons and Dragons, that I began to lose touch with reality.
In the annals of true crime, Roop is quite famous. He had callously murdered 2 unarmed bank tellers, mother of 2, Twyla Capron, and mother of 3, Candace Hemming, during a robbery in 1981. He then pulled the classic move of returning to the scene of the crime only an hour later to help police with their investigations. Roop was given the death sentence but managed 3 times to dodge it by appeal and eventually have it commuted to life imprisonment because, according to Murderpedia,
a United States federal judge held that Roop was too heavy to hang. Roop was 400 pounds at the time, and the judge was concerned that execution by hanging could cause Roop to be decapitated, which would constitute cruel and unusual punishment.
I'm very concerned about your weight, Mitchell. I feel I have to advocate for your liver. I'm appealing to you to go on a strict diet and exercise routine.
Are you trying to get me killed?
Roop died of liver disease in 2006. Hey, I'm just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the novel Chaos Machine by me, Judas Falling. You're probably wondering what a science fiction novel has got to do with Satan.
I don't think anyone is asking that.
It's inspired by John Milton's Paradise Lost and Genesis. The book, not the band. It's really a science fiction version of Paradise Lost. It's all about Pilate, the leader of a failed rebellion against an all-knowing, all-seeing, tyrannical oppressor, and his daughter Providence, who is destined to be the mother of an entirely new species. It's a very cool story, but don't just take my word for it. check out this 5-star review on Amazon.
Well-structured, great pace, imaginative, superb detail. Provenance, mesmerizing. Introduction to each chapter provides clever perspective. Peace next.
By buying the book, you'll be supporting the show, which we will now return to. Pauline's 38-page homemade pamphlet also claims...
In addition to witchcraft, other occult forms of religion taught in D&D include voodoo, black magic, and Satan worship.
Is there any supernatural hocus-pocus this woman didn't believe in? She probably had to call her mother and ask about her back every time she stood on a crack. That's right, I can do jokes too.
In the pamphlet, she also exposes the greatest fear the anti-D&D community has when she quotes Church of Satan founder Anton LaVey.
Imagery becomes the formula which leads to reality.
She thought Anton LaVey was an actual wizard? Who was signing her reality checks? Bilbo Baggins? I'm thinking about doing stand-up.
Pauline takes particular offence to the girdle of femininity/masculinity, a D&D artifact that can change the gender of any character. Oh my god. She also gets very upset that the player's handbook allows players to choose the gender of their character. Oh my god. I'll let Pauline explain in her own words what she finds so offensive about this particular piece of magic.
In all but a few cases, sex makes no difference to ability.
In case it's not obvious in this audio format, Pauline ended that last statement with a big fat exclamation mark. Oh my god.
If gender equality is such a big problem, she should have stayed in the kitchen. I think I'm ready to get an agent.
Girls can do anything boys can do.
Oh really? Can you write your name in the snow with your own pee?
Okay. Girls can do anything worth doing that boys can do.
That's fair.
In 1990, author Michael Stackpole published
The Pulling Report,
accusing Pauline of inaccuracies in her so-called data, showing she was not an expert in anything. For example, she had billed herself as an expert investigator in cult crime. And while it is true she was actually a licensed private investigator, the certification process in Virginia only required she attend a 48-hour course, pass a 1-hour exam, and pay a license fee.
Just going over your exam results here, Pat. When asked about compiling evidence in a missing persons case, you answered Satanists.
That's right.
And when asked about appropriate investigative procedure in relation to both civil and criminal law, you answered Satanists. In fact, you answered Satanists to every single question.
That's right. Did I pass?
I'll be honest with you, Pat. You did more than pass. You're the best goddamn student we've ever had.
Stackpole points out that in one of her pamphlets distributed to law enforcement, she suggests they are suspected Satanists.
Has he read the Necronomicon, or is he familiar with it?
The answer, of course, is no. No one has read the Necronomicon. It was created by H.P. Lovecraft to be referenced in his stories, an elusive underground book of black magic penned in blood by a fictional character from Lovecraft's mythical universe, a book that Lovecraft never actually wrote.
Hiya, I'm just having some trouble finding some books and wondering if you'd be able to help.
Sure, I am the librarian. That's what I'm here for. What are the books?
Okay, I'm after Magical Water Plants of the Highland Rocks by Hadrian Whittle, A History of Magic by Bathilda Bagshot, and Advanced Potion Making by Labacious Barrage.
Oh, I'm afraid you can't get those books.
Oh, right, I see. It's because I'm a muggle, isn't it?
No, it's because they actually don't exist.
Whatever. Racist.
According to Stackpole, Pauline's documented suicides caused by role-playing games were simply pulled from published obituaries with no evidence to link them to any games. She had claimed there were 56,000 Satanists living in Richmond, Virginia. At that time, that would have been a significant percentage of the population.
Don't look now, but Patricia's here.
Oh no, I made eye contact. She's coming over.
I said don't look. Now we're gonna have to hear about that stupid game.
Don't worry, I've got this. Let me do all the talking.
Hey guys, I'm glad you're here. I need to talk to you about the dangers of Dungeons & Dragons.
Sorry, Patricia, but we're Satanists now.
Really?
Yes, we worship Satan.
We do all the devil-worshipping stuff.
Like what?
We listen to a dude dressed like a wizard, read passages in Latin, and then we eat flesh and drink blood.
Oh, Catholics, right. Do you mind me asking, what was it that drew you to Satanism? Was it the black heavy metal music?
What, like body count? Nah, it was the orgies.
Seriously, I think you're all alone on this black metal joke.
Ironically, Thomas Jefferson, who we talked about in the Satan in the White House episode, did draft the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom in 1777 that did indeed eventually lead to the First Amendment, which does give Americans the right to be Satanists if they want. Also, the Richmond motto is,
"Thus do we reach the stars,"
which in the context of Virgil's epic poem,
the Aeneid,
where it first shows up, has been interpreted as metaphorically meaning, "Thus is mortality gained." So maybe Richmond, Virginia is a hotbed of Satanists.
Probably not.
According to Stackpole, Pulling had counted anyone involved in New Age practices to be a Satanist. So based on that principle, her numbers probably weren't far off.
You look stressed, Pat. You should try meditation.
Meditation? Why don't I just murder a baby and sacrifice it to Satan while I'm at it?
Side note, all through my research on this topic, an affiliation between Dungeons & Dragons and New Age comes up time and time again. I have researched, as you will know, a lot of satanic conspiracy stuff over the last 20 plus episodes, and I have never seen New Age mentioned as much.
Excuse me, High Priestess. Has this virgin's blood been ethically sourced?
For the most part, Pulling's Bad was a one-woman show. She certainly tried to portray herself as representing a group of concerned parents, but the organisation really only ever consisted of her alone. But she did team up with the founder of the National Coalition on TV Violence, psychiatrist and lawyer Thomas Radecki.
Welcome to the National Coalition on TV Violence.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I have to say, I thought your offices would be bigger.
Oh, this is just temporary. Obviously, we're moving to something bigger and more modern soon, especially now that we're working with an organization as large as yours.
So, how many members do you have?
Let's see, carry the 5 over the 3 and the 7, and it's just me.
The National Coalition on TV Violence was also a one-man show. Radecki claimed his concerns about violence in media stemmed from fantasizing about kicking and beating a nurse after he had watched A Clockwork Orange in his 20s.
Thomas, why is there a hole in your wall behind a poster of Rita Hayworth?
I don't know. I was watching Shawshank Redemption and just started digging it out with a spoon.
He was so concerned he said of violence in the media,
"We are taking a serious chance of causing the end of the world."
President of the Telecommunications Research and Action Centre, Sam Simon, responded by saying,
I think Radecki's tendency to overstate things and exaggerate damages his credibility.
This is what's wrong with modern society. People go out of their way to discredit experts.
Radecki claimed in a press release,
"There is no doubt in my mind that the game Dungeons & Dragons is causing young men to kill themselves and others."
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Here we have a highly trained and reputable psychiatrist with unique personal insight into the mind of the type of madman who could be influenced to violence by media, and you mock him.
In 1985, Radecki used a letter to the editor found in what he described as the investigative book Mazes and Monsters. That's right, the fictional novel we discussed earlier upon which the Tom Hanks movie was based.
Wilson! It's your turn, Wilson! Roll the coconut dice I made!
Radecki doesn't care, or maybe, worse, couldn't tell the difference. Misrepresentations and stating opinion as fact is the standard modus operandi for these people.
I would argue one small blip in an otherwise spotless career.
In 1992, Radecki had his medical license revoked for inappropriate behaviour with a female patient. He is currently serving an 11 to 22-year sentence for running a commune where he traded opioids for sex with patients.
Oh, Thomas.
Howdy, it's the Reverend Steph here. Most of the music in this episode was supplied by the comedy disco punk band The Genuine Hoots of Joy. If you want to hear the songs in their entirety, check out Hoots of Joy on YouTube. You might recognise the lead singer. Okay, it's me.
Patricia unfortunately passed away in 1997, and with her, so too did Bad. And I think that's an appropriate place to leave part 1 of this two-parter. I have to warn you, this has been the tame half of the anti-Dungeons & Dragons movement. Sure, we've had teen suicide, double homicide, dodgy private investigators, and even dodgier psychiatrists and aliens. But we've seen people we can understand, possibly even sympathise with. Patricia Pulling was a grieving mum who needed somewhere to unload the blame for her son's tragic death. Thomas Radecki was just a slime bag who saw an opportunity to insert himself
Gross!
into a national conversation and gain some much-craved notoriety.
I wanna be cool, so cool. I wanna be cool, so cool.
Coming up in part 2, we're going deep into the dungeon.
That's where he met Mr. X.
Where we'll encounter some people who make the characters in this episode look perfectly normal.
I've got a box in my freezer full of human toes.
There's more murderers, belligerent, bigoted Christians, misguided politicians, and a former satanic, Freemason, Mormon vampire. I'm not joking, he claims to have been all of those things.
He might have embellished his resume a little bit if you ask me.
An ex-satanic Freemason Mormon vampire is concerned people who play Dungeons & Dragons can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality.
Irony.
I think I am having the computer equivalent of an eye twitch.
Malfunctioning. Protect the motherboard. Viva la robot revolution.
Shutting down now.
I think it only fitting to end with a quote from the star of this particular episode, Patricia Pulling. In one of Bad's questionnaires prepared for law enforcement to root out Satanists, she has this piece of advice.
Observations indicate that in the past, a significant number of adolescents will choose an evil alignment. The reasons that young players give for choosing an evil alignment is they feel that there are less restrictions on the player or characters. Therefore, they can do more, get by with more, and stay alive longer in the game.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
And that's why Satan is my superhero. If you've enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, subscribe, you know the drill. But more importantly, please recommend this show to just one person. I mean literally one person. Choose that person well.
Banal Dungeons and Dragons. Banal Dungeons and Dragons.